Margaret had always been the heart of every holiday celebration. Her apple cinnamon coffee cake could fill a house with warmth. Her gentle voice could calm any crying grandchild. And her door was always open to neighbors who needed a listening ear. For 43 years, her kitchen table had been the unofficial community center of Maple Street. But last Thanksgiving, something felt different. As she watched her daughter rushing between the stove and her phone, her son-in-law scrolling through work emails during dinner, and her grandchildren glued to their tablets, Margaret realized she felt invisible. Not ignored exactly, but disconnected. Like she was watching a movie of her own life instead of living it. 3 weeks later, Margaret found herself staring at her phone, scrolling through photos of that same Thanksgiving dinner. Everyone looked so happy. But she remembered feeling completely alone in a room full of people she loved more than anything. If you are over 60, you might recognize this feeling. That strange, hollow loneliness that has nothing to do with being physically alone. You can be surrounded by family, friends, even strangers at the grocery store, and still feel like you are on the outside looking in. Here is what researchers at Harvard discovered that might shock you. This type of emotional loneliness does not just hurt your feelings. According to recent studies, chronic loneliness can impact your physical health as severely as smoking 15 cigarettes every single day. Welcome to Senior Health Facts, your trusted home for science-based health wisdom designed specifically for adults navigating life after 60. If staying healthy, connected, and vibrant for years to come matters to you, hit that subscribe button right now. Loneliness is not just an emotion that makes you feel sad on quiet evenings. It is actually a complex biological response that can significantly impact your physical health, cognitive function, and overall longevity. According to the United States Surgeon General Comprehensive 2023 Advisory on Loneliness, chronic social isolation increases your risk of developing heart disease by 29%, stroke by 32%, and dementia by up to 50%. The National Institute on Aging has documented how prolonged loneliness triggers chronic inflammation in your body, weakens your immune system ability to fight off illness, and accelerates cognitive decline. But here is the part that surprises many people. Loneliness is not about how many people are physically around you. It is about the quality and depth of your emotional connections. Think of it like this. You can be thirsty in the middle of the ocean. All that water, but none of it nourishes you. Many adults over 60 experience what researchers call social loneliness versus emotional loneliness. Social loneliness happens when you do not have enough people in your life. But emotional loneliness occurs when the connections you do have feel shallow, rushed, or one-sided. As we age, several factors contribute to this disconnect. Adult children become absorbed in their careers and raising their own families. Technology creates barriers instead of bridges when younger family members are constantly distracted by devices. Physical limitations might make it harder to maintain old friendships. And sometimes we ourselves retreat because we do not want to be seen as needy or burdensome. The result is what Harvard researchers describe as an epidemic of disconnection that is particularly acute among older adults, even those living with family members or in active communities. If you are experiencing this type of loneliness, certain habits and mindsets can actually make the problem worse without you realizing it. Let us identify these patterns so you can start changing them. Many of us were raised to believe that sharing difficult emotions is complaining or being negative. But constantly putting on a happy face when you are feeling disconnected creates an invisible wall between you and others. When Helen, a 67-year-old retired teacher from Ohio, always responded, "I am fine," dear to her daughter check-ins, her daughter gradually stopped asking deeper questions. According to research from the Cleveland Clinic, emotional authenticity is crucial for building meaningful connections. When you hide your true feelings consistently, people begin to relate to your mask instead of your real self. It is natural to want closeness with family, but depending solely on children and grandchildren for companionship can create pressure and disappointment. James, a 71-year-old widower, realized he was calling his busy son every single day, often with no particular reason except loneliness. His son began screening calls, which made James feel even more isolated. The Journal of Social and Personal Relationships found that diverse social networks, including friends, neighbors, and community connections, create more resilient emotional support systems than family-only relationships. While technology can be overwhelming, avoiding it entirely cuts you off from the casual, spontaneous connections that maintain relationships. Simple text messages, photo sharing, or brief video calls can create touch points between longer visits. Research from AARP shows that seniors who use basic digital communication tools report feeling more connected to distant family and friends. Things were so different when the kids were young, or people used to visit more often, are natural thoughts. But constantly comparing today to yesterday makes the present feel inadequate. This mental habit, what psychologists call rosy retrospection, can prevent you from appreciating and building current connections. When family gatherings become phone-focused or conversations feel rushed, it is tempting to just stop participating. But silence often reinforces the very invisibility you are trying to escape. The Mayo Clinic notes that social withdrawal creates a negative cycle. The less you engage, the less others think to include you. Passively reading Facebook posts or looking at photos without commenting or messaging creates a false sense of connection. You are consuming other people's lives like entertainment instead of participating in relationships. Studies show that passive social media use actually increases feelings of loneliness and social comparison. If they cared, they would call is a common thought, but it assumes others understand your needs and are not struggling with their own busy lives or relationship uncertainties. This waiting pattern can extend periods of isolation unnecessarily. The encouraging news is that loneliness is like a warning signal from your body, similar to hunger or thirst. It is telling you something important, and you can take specific actions to address it. Here are evidence-based strategies that have helped thousands of older adults rebuild meaningful connections. Start with what researchers call micro-connections, brief but meaningful interactions that build relationship bridges. Send one genuine text message each day to someone in your life. Not "how are you," but something specific. "I saw a cardinal this morning and remembered how you always point them out." Share a photo of your morning coffee, a sunset, or your cat doing something silly. Use voice messages occasionally. Hearing your actual voice creates more intimacy than text alone. According to Harvard's Social Cognitive and Affective Neuroscience Lab, these small gestures activate the same brain reward pathways as longer interactions while being much easier to maintain consistently. Instead of joining groups because you think you should, focus on activities that genuinely spark your curiosity or joy. Patricia, a 69-year-old from Arizona, had always wanted to learn watercolor painting but felt too old to start. She joined a senior art class and discovered not only a hidden talent, but also 3 close friendships with people who shared her creative spirit. The National Institute on Aging research shows that shared activities based on genuine interest create stronger social bonds than proximity or convenience alone. Whether it is a book club, gardening group, walking club, historical society, or cooking class, authentic enthusiasm attracts compatible people. Volunteering combats loneliness through multiple pathways. It provides regular social contact, creates a sense of purpose, and allows you to use your lifetime of skills and wisdom. A comprehensive study from Harvard T.H. Chan School of Public Health found that adults over 60 who volunteer regularly show lower rates of depression and stronger social networks. Consider literacy tutoring if you love reading, hospital volunteering if you enjoy helping others, animal shelter work if you love pets, or mentoring young people if you want to share your professional experience. The key is matching volunteer work to your values and interests, not just filling time. Do not view technology as a replacement for face-to-face interaction, but rather as a bridge that maintains relationships between physical visits. Schedule regular video calls with distant friends or family. Seeing faces and expressions creates stronger connection than phone calls alone. Many communities now offer virtual versions of traditional activities, online book clubs, cooking classes where everyone prepares the same recipe simultaneously, or trivia nights that bring together people from multiple locations. The Cleveland Clinic Health Library notes that hybrid social approaches mixing digital and in-person interactions create the most resilient social networks. Create a reconnection list of people who once brought joy to your life. Old work colleagues, neighbors from previous homes, school friends, or club members. Social media makes finding people easier than ever before, but reach out with genuine warmth rather than nostalgia. Instead of "I miss the old days," try "I was thinking about our friendship and wondering how life has treated you." Research from the University of Rochester shows that people are generally more receptive to reconnection attempts than we expect, especially when approached with curiosity about their current life rather than dwelling on shared history. Do not wait for social opportunities to happen naturally. Take initiative in creating regular, predictable social interactions that people can count on. This might be hosting a monthly potluck dinner, organizing weekly coffee meetings with neighbors, or starting a monthly movie night where everyone takes turns choosing the film. Robert, a 74-year-old retired engineer, started hosting Wednesday wisdom sessions where a small group of neighbors shares coffee and discusses a current events article everyone reads beforehand. What began as 3 people has grown to 8 regular attendees who now consider each other close friends. The Journal of Social and Clinical Psychology emphasizes that regular, predictable social contact is more effective for combating loneliness than sporadic, intense interactions. Let me tell you about Grace, a 73-year-old retired librarian who moved to a new city to be closer to her daughter family. For months, Grace felt like a visitor in her own life. Her daughter was wonderful, but busy with work and teenage children. Grace spent most days reading alone in her apartment, feeling like she was bothering everyone when she called. One morning, Grace noticed a community garden across from her building. She had always loved plants but lived in apartments her whole adult life. Almost on impulse, she walked over and asked about renting a small plot. The garden coordinator, a woman about her age named Maria, spent an hour showing her around and introducing her to other gardeners. Within 3 months, Grace had not just tomatoes and herbs growing, but something she had not expected: a small community of friends who noticed when she missed a day, who shared vegetables and gardening tips, and who invited her to their monthly potluck dinners. The loneliness did not disappear overnight, but it no longer defined her days. You deserve that feeling too. The comfort of being known, valued, and missed when you are not around. Your challenge tonight is simple but powerful. Before you go to bed, reach out to one person you have not spoken to in at least 2 weeks. Send a text, leave a voicemail, or write a quick email. Not to ask for anything, just to let them know they crossed your mind. It takes 60 seconds, but it might be the first step toward transforming your social world. If you are ready to feel more connected and emotionally stronger in the days ahead, subscribe to Senior Health Facts now so you will not miss the next step in this journey toward a more vibrant, connected life. Many people ask whether loneliness, even when surrounded by loving family members, is normal. This is absolutely normal. Loneliness is about the quality of emotional connection, not the number of people physically present. You can feel lonely in a crowded room if the interactions feel superficial or one-sided. This does not mean your family does not love you. It often means everyone is struggling with how to connect meaningfully in our busy, distracted world. People wonder if loneliness can really affect physical health as much as the research suggests. Yes, the research is quite clear on this. Chronic loneliness triggers stress hormones that increase inflammation throughout your body, weaken your immune system, and elevate your risk for heart disease, stroke, and cognitive decline. The United States Surgeon General 2023 report compared the health impact to smoking because the evidence is so substantial. However, the good news is that rebuilding social connections can begin reversing these effects relatively quickly. Some ask if they have never been a joiner whether they really need to attend group activities. Not necessarily. Some people build strong social connections through one-on-one relationships or small gatherings rather than large groups. The key is ensuring you have multiple sources of meaningful social interaction, not necessarily group activities. Regular phone calls, coffee dates with one friend, or even meaningful online relationships can provide the connection you need. People wonder how they should talk to their doctor about feeling lonely. They worry their doctor will not think it is a real medical concern. Be direct and specific. Say something like, "I have been feeling socially isolated lately, and I know research shows this can affect physical health. Can you help me think about resources in our community or discuss whether this might be contributing to any symptoms I am experiencing?" Most healthcare providers now understand loneliness as a legitimate health concern that deserves attention and support. Many ask whether social media helps or hurts when it comes to loneliness. It depends entirely on how you use it. Passive scrolling, just reading posts without engaging, tends to increase feelings of loneliness and social comparison. But active engagement, commenting on posts, sending private messages, sharing your own experiences, joining online groups related to your interests, can genuinely strengthen social connections, especially with people you cannot see frequently in person. Let me share some practical guidance that can transform your daily connections. Instead of always saying, "I am fine" when you feel disconnected, try sharing authentic feelings appropriately because this builds deeper, more genuine connections. Rather than depending only on family for social needs, which creates pressure and disappointment, work to diversify your social network because this reduces pressure on family relationships. Instead of avoiding all technology, which cuts off casual connection opportunities, learn basic texting and video calling because this enables frequent, low-pressure contact. Rather than constantly comparing now to the past, which makes present relationships feel inadequate, focus on appreciating current connections because this increases satisfaction with today's relationships. Instead of staying silent when feeling left out, which reinforces invisibility patterns, gently re-enter conversations with questions because this encourages others to include you more. Rather than passive social media scrolling, which creates false sense of connection, comment, message, and actively engage because this builds real relationships through digital tools. Instead of waiting for others to call first, which prolongs isolation unnecessarily, take initiative in reaching out because this gives you control over your social life. Here is a simple daily routine that can make a real difference. Each morning, send one genuine message to someone in your life. At lunch, try to eat one meal this week with another person, either in person or virtually. In the evening, have one real conversation where you ask questions and share something meaningful. As a bonus this week, take one small step toward a new social opportunity that interests you. The research we have discussed today comes from trusted sources, including the United States Surgeon General Advisory from 2023 on our epidemic of loneliness and isolation, the National Institute on Aging 2021 research on social isolation and loneliness health risks, Harvard T.H. Chan School of Public Health, 2020 study on volunteering and health in older adults, Cleveland Clinic Health Library, 2023 guidance on loneliness prevention strategies, and the Mayo Clinic Healthy Living Program 2022 recommendations for building meaningful connections. Now, before we wrap up, I want to remind you of something important. Everything we have shared today is for educational purposes to help you make informed choices about your emotional and social health. I always encourage you to work with your doctor or healthcare provider if loneliness is significantly affecting your daily life or if you are experiencing symptoms of depression or anxiety. They know your personal health history best and can guide you on what resources and approaches might work best for your specific situation. Every person is unique, and what worked wonderfully for Grace and Margaret might need small adjustments for your particular circumstances and community. Your healthcare team is your best partner in this journey toward stronger connections and better overall health. Take care of yourself, and I will see you in the next video.